This is the final session not only for today, but for the entire conference. Just a reminder, information about how to submit questions and how to access the French captions can be found in the chat. Our first speaker this hour is David Ostro. David has 20 years of experience in various roles with the Disability Foundation and its 6 affiliate charities, including developing the Trail Rider, a unique assistive device for adaptive hiking. David has been integral in helping turn the Trail Rider into a social venture of the BC Mobility Opportunities Society and bringing it to communities around the world. Welcome, David.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody for joining me today. As Allison said, my name is David Ostro. I'm a white male in my 60s. What's left of my hair is very short and I wear glasses. I'm speaking today from the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. And I'm a part of the BC Mobility Opportunities Society, BC MOS as we call it, which was established in 1988 with the mission of offering opportunities for people with mobility challenges to be active and pursue interests, largely outdoors, but actually since COVID, we've also incorporated quite a few virtual activities into our programs. Next slide, please. Basically, we now have over 30 years of experience offering a range of activities, including adaptive hiking, which has been made possible and popular thanks to the Trail Rider, which is a mobility device that we created and have shared through our social enterprise with people and organizations around the world. When we talk about innovative solutions to improve park accessibility, the Trail Rider is a big one and will help many people experience the wonders of Canada's national parks in inclusive groups and just in a wonderful supportive way. Through our programs here in Vancouver, we've explored the various wilderness areas and parks in the region. We've had also many enthusiastic outdoors types who have taken the Trail Rider to destinations around the world. And I'll share some examples of that in some slides a little bit later. I should mention that BC MOS is affiliated with 6 other charities, all of which were established by Sam Sullivan. Next slide, please. You may remember Sam. He was the mayor of Vancouver for 3 years. And the photo that you see here was just a couple of months after he was elected mayor of Vancouver. One of his first official duties was to travel to Italy and accept the Olympic flag at the 2006 Turin Games so that he could bring it back home to Vancouver for our 2010 Games. And next slide, please. Sam's visionary leadership and innovative ideas came to a culmination in a lot of ways. Before becoming mayor, he, in addition to the 7 charities he created, Sam was himself responsible for a number of innovative solutions, including one day in 1995 when he decided he wanted to go on a real hike. And he talked to a volunteer from our Tetra Society, which is our organization that recruits volunteer engineers and inventors to design and build customized assistive devices for people with disabilities. And this is actually a scan of the sketch that Sam made on a napkin while meeting with that volunteer in 1995. And as you'll see, next slide, please, what this volunteer, Paul Chermak, came up with is the original Trail Rider. Sam wasn't always a patient, or probably still isn't, a patient person. So when Paul asked him when he wanted to go on this hike, he said, "Oh, on the weekend will be fine." And so the very inventive person that Paul Chermak was found a lawn chaise in his garage, welded on a wheel and some supports, and Sam took his first hike. And the success of that led to it being developed, and obviously some improvements to make it easier to operate, etc. Resulted actually, next slide, please. Over the years, we subjected the Trail Rider to several redesigns and enhancements, and the result is the sophisticated piece of equipment that it is today. The photo that you see there is the model that we've actually been using now since 2006, what we refer to as our Black Diamond model. And it's very ergonomically designed, adjustable footrest, armrest, seat back. It folds up for transport, and it's become the core of not only our adaptive hiking program here in Vancouver, but through our social enterprise has been sold to people and organizations around the world. And we continue to build it right here in Vancouver. We custom build a run of them every year, and yeah, it's as I say, really made its way around. Next slide, please. With this wonderful device available, we're able here to offer a range of ways to enjoy nature, and it's a very inclusive experience. In our program here in Vancouver, people book hikes and go out with our staff and volunteers for hikes of varying lengths, different destinations around the Greater Vancouver area. In addition to individuals, we also accommodate groups of hikers, whether from organizations, care facilities, just groups of friends, and they get introduced to the trail rider at our hiking center, which is located at Pacific Spirit Park, which is a Metro Vancouver park right out near the University of British Columbia campus. And there are many ways that we've incorporated into the program to enable people to enjoy and experience adaptive hiking in the way that suits them best. Next slide, please. For example, some people book hikes and go out on their own with friends and family as their Sherpas, which is what we affectionately, or how we affectionately refer to the people that push and pull the trail rider. We of course offer orientation and training to people in how to operate it, safely and easily. Next slide, please. Another very popular activity are interpretive hikes, where we invite park rangers to come along on some of our hikes during the year and share their knowledge of local plants and animals and ecosystems. And much like the interpretive hikes that I've taken part in national parks, it really adds an element to connecting with nature that is very rewarding and interesting. Next slide, please. The beautiful thing about the trail rider is its single wheel makes virtually any trail accessible, whether it's narrow, got lots of rocks and roots, side slopes. In the photo you see here of the Lynn Canyon Suspension Bridge, which is actually one of our most popular destination hikes, it can even navigate that. Next slide, please. One of the key things, of course, in adaptive hiking is teamwork. And even very, very challenging destinations can be possible if you've got motivated people and just a group that wants to accomplish something interesting together. In the photo you see here, a group of folks went to Garibaldi Lake near Whistler, which was roughly a 12-hour round trip hike. So not for everybody, but definitely for those that are building up their hiking experiences, a very rewarding destination, and even of course the trek along the way has many rewards. Next slide, please. And in addition, BC Moss has loaned trail riders to people to travel to some very exciting and challenging destinations. Got a few examples here on the slide that you'll see, and just describing them from the clockwise from the upper left. You have Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah, Machu Picchu, Yosemite National Park in California, the Grand Canyon, and once again Garibaldi Lakes Provincial Park. That was actually a group that took a 3-day backcountry camping trip. So all kinds of adventures are possible. Next slide, please. One of the most challenging destinations the trail riders accomplished has been summiting Mount Kilimanjaro, which has actually happened on several occasions. I believe at least 4 or 5 people now have used the trail rider to get to the top of Uhuru Peak, which is a little over 19,000 feet in elevation. So now in those situations, they use Tanzanian porters in a lot of cases to power the trail rider. It's obviously a very very challenging for anybody to be climbing a mountain at that altitude, and so the locals there are the ones most capable of it. Next slide, please. A couple of BC women, each in their 60s at the time, made it to the base camp of Mount Everest, and in fact even a little above, making it to a roughly 22,000 foot elevation. Next slide, please. A former BC Moss board member named Brad Jacobson and a group of friends pursued Brad's dream of hiking the West Coast Trail, which is located, of course, in one of Canada's national parks, the Pacific Rim National Park Reserve. It's actually a very, very challenging trek. People have to get a permit to do it, and have to have contingency plans, rescue contingencies, things like that. Anyway, this team did it successfully, and they even filmed their trek and turned it into a trailer, which is available on YouTube, called the Standing Spirit Project. And we're actually, Brad tragically passed away last year, and some of the people on the trek are looking now at turning that trailer into Brad's vision of a full-length documentary. And so something we're working on at the moment. Next slide, please. Here you see some of the things that Brad was able to experience along the way, included swimming in a waterfall with his friends. Next slide, please. In addition, he very much relished the quiet moments of contemplation and communing with nature. And here he is looking out at the Pacific Ocean. Next slide, please. So basically, I think you can see from that how where you can go is only limited by your imagination. Some of the places that, and I put this slide in as for a bit of humor. I don't advocate vandalizing signs in our national parks, but someone here took the initiative to point out the presence of trail riders in Jasper, and we got a kick out of that. But at the moment, the trail riders are being used extensively in BC parks, Alberta parks, largely as a result of partnerships with not-for-profits and local organizations that help people then to access parks near those communities. In addition, not-for-profit programs across Canada and in the US have acquired trail riders. We've provided them to organizations that offer outdoor services and activities like wildlife refuges, eco tours, that kind of thing, to make experiences more inclusive and enable people with mobility limitations to take part in those activities. Many municipalities and rec centers and parks departments have acquired trail riders. So there's really just a growing list of places where adaptive hiking is being taken part in. Next slide, please. In fact, we've got a list on our website of some of the places around the world the trail rider is available. And as Allison mentioned, through our social enterprise, we've now shared the trail rider with roughly 200 organizations around the world, people and organizations. Next slide, please. One of the most successful ventures with the trail rider has been in Australia, where a fellow named David Stratton, who was an Australian and lived in Vancouver for several years, when he moved back to Australia, took his experience with the trail rider here and said, we have to have these in Australia. And he caught the ear of a fellow named John Kenwright, who was the coordinator of Access Inclusion for Parks Victoria. And together they incorporated a program of acquiring trail riders, developing a volunteer Sherpa program, so that the parks will actually seek out volunteers if a person does not have friends and family of their own to power the trail rider for them. The folks at Parks Victoria will secure them for them, much like we do with our local program here. They partner with local governments and not-for-profits to manage the trail riders and keep the equipment stored and maintained. They created a trail classification system specifically for the trail riders, so that if a trail is particularly difficult, a lot of elevation gain, they'll say this is a 4 Sherpa trail. You know, if it's nice, level, easy ground, well, then it's on, you know, just takes 2 Sherpas, that kind of thing. And at the moment now, there are roughly 30 trail riders in the park system in Australia. Next slide, please. Basically, a lot of the benefits that you know, that people enjoy as a result of taking part in adaptive hiking is that, you know, groups of people get to come together, sometimes, you know, groups of friends, sometimes people who didn't know each other before, establish connections. Next slide, please. They get to share a love of the outdoors. Next slide, please. They enjoy new adventures. In the photo you see here, camping trip, also up in along the Sunshine Coast of BC. Next slide, please. They connect with nature. In this case, getting up close to some bighorn sheep is not an experience everybody gets to have during their lifetimes, but is a very exciting one. Personally, I was once almost run over by a bighorn sheep, and I don't recommend that. But anyway, it's it can be exciting to see up close. Next slide, please. People make new friends and really get to enjoy their experience together. Next slide. Families are able to be active together and take part in excursions and with the entire family. Next slide, please. Kids in particular, it's so valuable when we're able to get them out and have them take part in hikes. They respond to nature and really develop a lifelong love of the outdoors when exposed to it at an early age. And so our kids hikes and our kids adventure days that we run are very, very popular and a wonderful part of our program. Next slide, please. Of course, you know, friends get to enjoy these destinations and these special times together and experiencing the, you know, the fulfillment of connecting. Next slide, please. And basically everyone has a good time. All friends, 2-legged and 4-legged, get to enjoy the experience. Next slide, please. Even Rick Mercer has enjoyed an adaptive hike. He came to Vancouver to do a feature on Sam for his show some years ago, and Sam took him on a trail rider hike, which Rick wasn't actually prepared for. He was wearing his Italian loafers, and yeah, that was a bit of fun and some fun on that episode. Next slide, please. And basically the message that we've been promoting, as I say, for over 30 years now, is that access to nature is for everybody. Adaptive hiking is such a rewarding and inclusive experience, whether it's a short, gentle hike, you know, of a half an hour, you know, here in a local park, or, you know, one of these challenging, you know, multi-day backcountry excursions. Basically a group of people, you know, with a trail rider can make virtually any beautiful natural place accessible. And next slide, please. And basically the camaraderie and inclusiveness that people experience is you know, a feeling that never goes away, and really in our experience makes people want to come back again and again. And next slide, please. And that's everything I have to share with you today. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me.
Thank you, David. That was fantastic. It's so great to hear that the Canadian Design Trail Rider is gaining traction in our local parks. We don't have time for questions, but we did get a few come in. So what I'll do is we'll gather those up and we'll send them over to you to answer later.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.